அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய அன்பான மாலை வணக்கம். My respectful greetings to all the eminent people in this wonderful gathering. Normally you mentioned, sir, when you were talking, a dignitary has mentioned, possibly this is the only Rotary Club in the world where everybody is a Paul Harris fellow, PHF. First Rotary Club, 85 members. So, Rotary Club Coimbatore Central is more like business happening in a Manhattan district, or probably fashion that is happening in Champs-Élysées in Paris, or probably the political nerve center like Connaught Place in Delhi. So it is that kind of a very prestigious club for the last 45 years, because a lot of good people, and this is a combination of knowledge, wisdom and wealth. All three combination is very unique, and all the esteemed members who are here, and you have this very unique combination where you are blessed by God to have knowledge, to have wisdom, and also to have wealth. That you have decided to put to the service of larger society. And that is why this club is so special, and anybody who is taking over as president, and the past outgoing president, and all the Rotarians here, I think you all should say, maybe a tap on your own shoulders, because all of you are very busy people, you run big companies, you work for big people, but still as your duty to the society, you take time, give yourself back by part of this very noble forum, channelizing all the good money and putting where it needed. I think that is very, very important, sir. And Rotary, I always keep telling, is also, it's a classic case of leadership. The past outgoing president is very quietly there, like a karma yogi. He has done all the work, and with a sense of, not pride, with a sense of dignity, sits there, presents to all of us what they have done. And he has set the bar higher for the next president who's taking over. And the next president, as he sits here, is thinking, how can I raise the bar even more higher before I pass on the baton to the next person? And the leadership is so stable, and everybody knows the next guy who's supposed to come, the team that is there, and zero politics, zero ego in a team. I don't think there is any organization in the world that can, less so politics, that can rival a Rotary Club in terms of a very stable leadership, so that all of our potential is channelized for the greater good. I think that makes the Rotary very, very special all the time, sir. And some of the esteemed dignitaries who are sitting in the front row are themselves very eminent past Rotarians, past presidents here. And they also have done their work, raised the bar higher. So I'm very sure for our new president who's taking oath today along with his team, Rotarian B. Vijayanand sir, it will be a fantastic time, and a time of growth, time of challenge, and time of raising the bar. And also, I should pay my compliments and respects to the past president, Rotarian Bharat Shah ji, and Secretary Ashwin Balasubramaniam, and all the great people who are sitting in the stage, including the Assistant Governor, Sri Murali ji, and the District Director, K.K. Chuk ji, and all members who are part of the incoming team and members who are part of the outgoing team. So I'm 100% sure, and you will achieve all your objectives, you will take it further, and you will make sure that Coimbatore will continue to prosper. And for people who need it at the appropriate time, you will be there as a beacon of hope and trying to get it done. I was thinking, what should I talk? Because they told me to come at exactly 7 o'clock. I saw the Google map. I saw, okay, 6:30 I leave home, 7 I'm here. Because I didn't want to come 1 minute early, 1 minute late. But I never thought the traffic buildup is so high. Even when I left at 6:20 from airport, the traffic buildup is so high. I landed here at 7:05. Because it happens with so much discipline, and I'm so sorry that on a day I came about 3-4 minutes late. And with such a discipline you run it, with such a time management you run it, you are a beacon and model of excellence, sir. So I thought today, what is the topic I should take for this evening? Eminent people, as I said, knowledge, wisdom and wealth, all combined, people are sitting here. I thought in my own way, I'll touch upon the topic called leadership, which is essential for all of us in some way. And that has defined you as a noble person, and all of you are sitting here. And for me, whenever I look at leadership, I look at a lot of traits, personal qualities, personal attributes that make a great leader. And every time my mind, it goes back to, since I'm in politics, it goes back to Abraham Lincoln. And we all know about Lincoln, great man, who ended slavery in US, and who led with a lot of personal challenges to bring a lot of great change to America. But a lot of us don't know, Lincoln is possibly the only great world leader, possibly the head of a state, who decided to have all his rivals inside his cabinet. And for every time we talk about Abraham Lincoln, we use a word called team of rivals. In the 1860 Republican primary, 4 people contested, along with Abraham Lincoln, to become the Republican nominee for the United States of India president, States of America president. So there was Edward Bates, who was one of his rival. There was Salmon P. Chase, who was one of his rival. There was William Seward, who was one of his rival, and Abraham Lincoln. All 4 people contested the election. And 3 got eliminated, and Lincoln became the Republican nominee. He beat the Democratic nominee, he became the president. When he took over charge as the President of the United States, he was deciding how his cabinet should be. Normally you tend to take people from your own party, people whom you know, people whom you are comfortable with. But in this case, Abraham Lincoln decided to call his rival in the primary, Edward Bates. He said, can you come and join my cabinet? And Edward Bates said, no, I just fought against you in the primary. He said, it's okay, please be my Attorney General, because this country needs the best of people. It doesn't matter what race, color, creed, or what party we belong to. So his principal rival, he made him Attorney General. And Salmon P. Chase, who was again his principal rival, he made him Secretary of Treasury. And William Seward, who was again his principal rival, he made him Secretary of State. This is a very unique cabinet where all the 4 people who contested to that prestigious post, 3 people inculcated into his cabinet. And this makes Lincoln one of the greatest statesmen the world has seen. Bringing rivals, using the knowledge and taking it up. That I keep liking with Rotary. That is what when I mentioned initially. It is a test of leadership because the kind of people whom we bring in, very stable, and everybody knows who is there, everybody knows who is the outgoing, incoming, so that there is a very clear chain of command, and then we only focus on the job to be delivered, we get it done. So this I thought is a huge parallel with respect to how Rotary is functioning. And anybody who is sitting in a position of power, we all tend to make decisions, and many of the time it is a moral decision. You mentioned about a certain budget, where to put that budget. Can it go to rural rejuvenation? Can it go to lakes? Can it go to a government hospital, government school? It is always a moral choice. The person who's sitting in the chair is always forced to take that choice. The second greatest quality I liked with Lincoln is, in 1863, when they tried to pass the 13th Amendment in the United States of America to abolish slavery, and Lincoln did not have votes. He did not have votes to pass the bill. So he bribed the people. He bought over congressmen. He called certain congressmen. He said, if you vote for this bill, I will give you this to your constituency. And some people were supposedly, they asked for money, they took it. And Steven Spielberg in his movie Lincoln, he very beautifully captures how Lincoln had to take this moral choice every single day because he had a very clear mission. 13th Amendment has to come, slavery has to get abolished. When the bill got passed, slavery got abolished in the US, one of the greatest senators himself, a person called Thaddeus Stevens, he stood up in the Congress, he said, the greatest measure of the 19th century, passed by the purest man in America, purely aided and abetted by corruption. So this is the Thaddeus Stevens reference he gave to Abraham Lincoln when the 13th Amendment got passed. So as leaders, we all face this big moral choices when we sit in a chair, try to make things happen. But we are not going to Lincoln's extent in doing our work. But that is a second moral compass that I thought any Rotary leader who comes here, sits here, you face it. And more than anybody else, the person who sits in the chair and the team who comes there, they come with a certain distinction. In this case, the immediate president, the current president, and every single person has achieved something in life. They've gone through a certain process. They have done great things in their own life. Then they come to this chair because they bring a lot of wealth of experience to this. So I'm very sure, sir, you will have a lot of moral choices that you will be facing. And I hope that you end up on the right side of your heart all the time. There is nothing called 100% of the time I make the right choice. But overall, I kind of pray to God that during your tenure and you and your team will try to end up in the right side of things by putting the money where it belongs. And third, right now there is a huge leadership crisis in the world. People keep using this word called VUCA. Normally for leadership, they use this word called VUCA. If you go to management seminar, they say it is volatile, it is uncertain, it is complex, it is ambiguous. They say all four are combined, that is leadership. Right now we can very clearly say the world is on the cusp of VUCA. The world is volatile, it is ambiguous, it is uncertain, and it is complex. Now we are not very sure how the world leaders are behaving. For example, the president of US, Mr. Trump. You mentioned about the industries in Coimbatore. We are waiting for the tariff. Not sure. It is taking time. And we are also in this last 10 years very clearly seeing the collapse of multilateral institutions. WTO has very clearly collapsed. The recent Gaza-Israel, we have seen the UN General Assembly collapsing. We have seen the Israel, Iran and Americans, again the United Nations collapsing. So we are seeing the great institutions that are supposed to hold the balance of power. In our own eyes, we are seeing that collapsing right in front of our eyes. And the great leaders who are supposed to behave like statesmen, countries having power, wealth, knowledge, which was supposed to behave like statesmen are behaving like parochial powers, are just behaving with powers that is willing to take anybody's land. We have seen the recent negotiation that brought the war in Congo, Rwanda, the Gulf of America, the Gulf of Panama, the Greenland, all the issues. So global level, we are at a very uncertain time. The rise of China is also a kind of uncertain time. The balance of power that is shifting at a global level. So right now in our eyes, we are seeing that. If we come back to the country also, now when we say, where have all the leaders gone? Very simply, we can clearly ask public service why the leaders are not of a certain quality. It's a very rightful question for a taxpayer to ask. We are in that stage and time. When we come to a district at a local council, a provincial level, again we are asking where have all the good leaders gone, leaders with moral compass. So Rotary as an institution, as an organization, as a foundation, it has always given stable leadership to the world, from the big powerful countries to some of the poorest African countries. Rotary has always acted as a shining beacon despite all the volatility that has surrounded. It has taken some of the biggest issues that is facing humankind. Rotary has done its best to solve it. So in this time, even if you are talking about Rotary Coimbatore, central president who is taking over, at the global level also, we are at a serious crisis for leadership. And we are also looking at institution like International Monetary Fund that is on the verge of collapse. We are looking at 1944 agreement which brought dollar as a preeminent global reserve system. That is on the verge of collapse with the bitcoins, cryptocurrency, everything that is there. We are also looking at a world that is divided between haves and have-nots, where countries having technology have become the haves, countries not having the technology have become the have-nots. We are seeing a new kind of dynamics in the global world, where countries cornering certain resources are supposed to be the best in the world in terms of shaping up the next 50 years of developmental journey. As we look now, countries like China and US have taken the lead very clearly in artificial intelligence, in the rare earth minerals. They have completely taken hold of what is happening. If you look at China per se, the known rare earth minerals find, China has got 69%, US is at 12.3%. Again, if you look at the processing capacity of the rare earth minerals, China is at 92%, US is at 4%. If you look at the artificial intelligence capacity, in the global, China has got 47% of the global scholars, 50% of the patents that is filed in AI in the last 4 years. So very clearly, we are seeing a global power shift between two countries. So in this time and age, our students need role models. Our students need good leaders whom they can see in schools. Students whom they can see good leaders in colleges, who will inspire them to become better citizens. Give whatever the society has given them, give it back. Whatever they choose to do it in life. But you mentioned a word called service before self. That discipline has to come to a student who's in a school right now so that he becomes a better leader 20 years from now. So right now the world is short of role models. And all of the students, many people in the college are looking forward to good leaders. So there I personally believe good leaders at the local level, at the Rotary level, good leaders at the civic institutions level. A lot of great leaders are sitting in the many rows here. And some of the great leaders at the civic institutions level. So they have to act as great role models for school, college students so that they can aspire to be leaders like them in the future. They can connect somebody to this attribute. Saying this word called service before self is very easy. But connecting a person service before self is very tough. So there I am very sure many of our students can connect to all the great people who are sitting in this room here. So that is why my humble submission to all the Rotary people here is, you should visit more schools, give a lot of lectures to students, expose them to activities of Rotary, expose them to leaders inside Rotary, including the kind of quality of membership that is inside Rotary, so that they get an opportunity to talk to the titans of the industry, some of the civic institution leaders, some of the people who run the greatest of NGOs, so that they get to see. Normally leaders, we equate, okay, politics is leader. Leaders, we equate it to some businessman as leader. But the world is shifting, the world is changing. The world is short of quality leaders. The current generation, if they are not exposed to quality leaders 20 years, 25 years from now, possibly we will look at America where it is now, multiplied by 2 times. The parochial powers, the way they are dealing it now, multiplied by 3-4 times. So that is my humble appeal to all the eminent members who are present here, to consider my humble suggestion to engage more with the government school, engage more with private schools as well, with the college students also. Also get a program where a student above a certain age, maybe above 18, maybe around 20, maybe around 25, given a leadership grounding at the Rotary level. And that student, if they get an exposure for about 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, at a Rotary level, a grounding in leadership. Seeing is believing. Meeting people is believing. Seeing the work is believing. How a wealth is channelized for the greater good of the society. If they get an idea what is happening, at least opening our inner workings to those kind of people at that age, impressionable age where mind easily forms and mind easily deforms, I think that is also one of the greatest contribution Rotary can do for the world, because I'm making this point for a fact that the world is short of quality leaders. Political leaders are political leaders, because at the end of the day, politics happen. And any leader who is introduced to a school, moment he or she is from politics, there is a certain segment who might like that leader, a certain segment who might not like that leader. But many of the people sitting in this room are common leaders. You transcend ideologies, you transcend political parties, you transcend a lot of things. So I humbly request, if there is any Rotary that can make this initiative, Rotary Central can make it happen, because of the quality of leaders we have inside this August gathering. And last but not the least, and my one more humble suggestion to the incoming president is, sir, it is also true that when Murali sir mentioned, we were sitting in a stage, many of our, in this age and time, the voices that we say also get misrepresented. And many times you take a stand, you speak something that easily gets misrepresented, that you're getting into politics, or maybe you're supporting a political personality or a political party, all those things. But I only urge, the country right now needs a good moral compass that can lead a country towards the right direction. And good people like you should speak up at the right forums, the right time, and use your moral compass to guide the society to move a little bit forward. And if good people chose not to speak at important moments in history, then who will speak at those moments in history? So I request all the eminent people who are in this place, there is always a time where you should speak up in a personal forum. It might be politics, might not be politics. It could be something you like, something you don't like. But the moral compass that you bring to the table, it will again bring back the discussion. Evaluate leaders in the society level. Evaluate people at the society level. This is something which I wanted to say this personally, because I keep talking this everywhere, that good people, when they chose not to speak, then who will speak for the society? So let us speak at the right forum, right time, with a bit of common sense when we have to speak and when not to speak, because common sense is knowing both. Sometimes we have to keep our mouth shut because for the fear of getting misunderstood. And many a time we have to keep speaking also, but again the problem is, we think, okay, if I speak, people will misunderstand me, like Murali sir said. So I'm sure Rotary will also continue to do that. Take civic issues. If there is a Coimbatore infra problem, whichever political party, be it the ruling party, be it the opposition party, be it the central party, and you should have a forum to criticize, challenge us. I think that is very important. And political leaders also have that maturity to understand, because you are the people who can give feedback. I know Rotary doesn't get into that, but this is a forum where a lot of industrialists, a lot of associations are present. So be critical, there is nothing wrong. Be appreciative, there is nothing wrong. Be argumentative, there is nothing wrong. Only when people speak up, the feedback loop gets activated. Unfortunately, in our country, the social feedback loop is so poor because of the political attack that people do on us, or the political pressures that we go through. Some of the social feedback we as a democracy have lost. That is one problem. When compared to an American democracy, the Indian democracy, we don't have a social feedback loop. I'm sure that you will consider at different forums. Whatever it is you speak, when the MSME is in crisis, please speak, please make your point. When good or bad is happening, please make your point. When you think any improvements have to happen, please make your point. I think when you start doing it, the social feedback loop will start coming back into democracy. So the leaders who are in power will start listening to common people like us, so that they know that they are accountable, not once in 5 years, but every single day during the time they are in power. So let us do this for opposition, ruling, central party, state party, so that it becomes more accountable, and then the society progresses. We can't put too much burden on the Rotary. I can ask a simple question, even after 45 years, even after 55 years, even after 60 years, why Rotary is still supposed to get into schools, build toilets? Why Rotary is still supposed to get into schools, give clean water? For me, it is very easy to ask standing from this side. Since the government is inefficient, we are putting so much burden on Rotary, when ideally these resources should be put for a better use somewhere in the community. But still some side, the service delivery is so poor, we are still putting on Rotary to deliver. That is also, I believe, is a sin. Because this Rotary is an organization, I completely believe, you got to go multiple steps ahead to create a new society, an ordered society, so that people feel inspired that living in that society. So I'm sure in the future, when the political feedback loop, when the efficiency of service delivery improves, probably the society might not put too much burden on the Rotary to take care of the civic basic issues, which is purely the political ruling dispensations control. I look forward to a day when we sit in a new Rotary conference, maybe 15 years from now. The thing that we talk would be about promoting a new age ecosystem, promoting a new age entrepreneurship, promoting something different. I look forward to that day in Rotary. Probably you will be the pioneers leading that change. So once again, I take this opportunity to thank the wonderful president who's coming in, Rotarian B. Vijay Anand, and the wonderful past president who was like a karma yogi, finished his work and quietly standing behind the new president and assisting Bharat D. Shah, and all the wonderful people who are in the stage and great people who are here. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Namaste.